Hello and welcome to the Radio Scilly video news. Sign up to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Radio Scilly.
The Scilly Lottery, thescillylottery.com.
So I'm in the committee present on the 27th of May, which was the last meeting, was Juliet May, Gaz O'Neill, Joe Evans, Sabine Schradoff, Kate Sleep, Nick Lishman, Dave Page, Jackie Gwenat, James Francis, Christine Saville, and myself. Normal members that also could be there were Zoe Julian, Anna Baton, Philip Callan and Jenny Bennison, who gave their apologies.
Now, one of the issues you talked about was the airport. What have you been talking about that?
For many years now, Island Tourism has continued to write to the council as the operator to the airport in regard to the issues that arise on weather and foggy days, and in particular when there has been fog and it clears, and that coincides with times when the air traffic controllers need to take a break. We fully understand that this is all part of Civil Aviation Authority ruling, but we have continued to lobby and continue to do so to see whether that potentially those situations can be relaxed by the CAA for the islands as a one-off thing for us, because it does seem nonsensical that, or Island Tourism believes it is rather nonsensical to have fog for several hours, and then when it clears, to then not still be allowed to fly because there is a lunch or a tea break that is part of the day-to-day working of those individuals. As we say, we do completely understand that it's Civil Aviation Authority regulations, but we do continue to assist in fighting that. And Dave Page, as BIH and as committee member of Island Tourism, will take those thoughts forward. We have written to Christine Saville, we have written to the council, and Dave will take those thoughts forward to a meeting that's happening in the near future on the very subject.
Now, quite a big issue recently has been the notion of the council straying into commercial territory. We know this because I think every business in Hugh Street and Garrison Lane signed a petition against commercial matter being sold at the TIC shop on the Quay. And I know that you wrote a letter to the council about that as well. What's happened as far as you're concerned with that?
Yeah, Island Tourism took the stance on behalf of all its members, but particularly obviously of its retail members, that it certainly did not wish to see the Tourist Information Centre develop into a retail centre in competition to fundamentally its taxpayers on the high street. And I know, there were other petitions and other letters written that said the same thing. I think collectively that has had its say, and we have had confirmation from the authority that will not be happening, and that the only retail to take place both in Hugh Street and on the new TIC on the Quay, which Island Tourism fully supports as an improvement in its operations, but didn't want to see the retail side, and they have confirmed that the only retail that will happen through either TIC will be information, guidebook led sort of stuff, which you'd expect, and the sort of things they sell today and have done for many years, but there'll be no development of that beyond those items, and so collectively, and Island Tourism hopefully has helped that process. The retailers have won their argument.
Now, moving on to the local action group, and there have been obviously funds given out to some business and community interests over the last couple of months, but there is matching funding with this. If you have a certain grant, you've also got to find the same amounts to create what you need to in cash terms for whatever project you've got, and you believe it's been a bit restrictive.
Island Tourism has continued to discuss at the local action group the problems surrounding that. There's a minimum entry level of a £5,000 project, of which you can get up to 60 and potentially 70% intervention, and that's quite a lot of money for a little business. As we all know, we have a lot of small businesses on the island, And if one wanted to make a small investment or develop a small website or improve existing websites, that sort of thing, which is all available, which is all perfect for the lag funding process, then £5,000 is too much. It's not necessary to spend that type of money. So we have been asking for something smaller, and that is now going to happen. It will get into place for the autumn, but Amanda Pender, who manages the lag funding, has put a program together that has been accepted at the lag meeting, that the minimum, there'll be a new small business grant, I haven't got the exact wording here, that the minimum entry level will be £1,000, which will make a lot more sense for smaller business, and it will have reduced red tape and paperwork attached to it as well, which will also help the small business persons. At the meeting, Island Tourism, first and foremost, was very sorry to hear of Kate's resignation and congratulated Kate on a lot of good work that she has done. We then went on to discuss, the way forward, and the result of that was that the committee agreed to pen a letter to Craig Dryden, who now sits on top of the economic development team, of which tourism falls under. And I think with his colleague Julian Pearce oversee the role of tourism officer. We wanted to primarily bring across to Craig that Island Tourism was keen to ensure that the matter was discussed with a meeting of appropriate interested parties, of which Island Tourism wished to be included, as it has in the past. And wanted to ensure that would continue. We also strongly felt that the new appointment should only be made after careful assessment of the opportunities that now arise, and that in particular the post should in no way be downgraded. In addition, the committee felt that it was important to dovetail this process with that of ongoing efforts of the recently formed Island Marketing Destination Management Group, that is to seek local action group funding in order to deliver a workable and visionary tourism management strategy going forward. In essence, I think Island Tourism wanted to say that it felt there should be an opportunity where the public authority and that the private business sector could sit down together to work out the best way forward for tourism management onwards from the current position.
Talking about officers, it's the topic that everybody you stop on the street will have an opinion on, and I'm sure Island Tourism is no different. The chief officer's pay rise, what have you been talking about in connection with that?
Again, the committee obviously discussed it, as you would expect, and as the Islands Chamber of Commerce then again decided after some discussion to pen a letter to the chairman of the council, Councillor Day, and to bring across Island Tourism's concern over the pay rises, and in particular to bring over its concern that as a business group we find that a lot of our members are currently finding it harder to remain in profit, that many are having to lower prices and generally struggling to keep afloat. And we felt it was the height of insensitivity to have made these large awards at this particular time. And in consideration the current economic situation, and for particularly those reasons, we also felt that it was that our elected council members had struck a bit of a body blow to the goodwill that we as business usually found that they would find from us as business within the community towards those people, the councillors who devote many hours of their time and energy to council service. We finished the letter by endorsing the request from the councillors that weren't at the meeting to have a further full councillors meeting to discuss the matter. We look forward to receiving a response from Councillor Day and to hearing the outcome of that meeting with interest.